Hi guys, welcome to the Movie Reviewers 100, and this week is Christopher Nolan week, and this gives me a chance to talk about a subject that sometimes comes up, and that is which is the best Batman movie. Now, in my opinion, the best Batman movie is Batman Begins, and often a lot of people say, why do you prefer Batman Begins? The Dark Knight is the masterpiece out of the three, and that's got the amazing performance by Heath Ledger, and it's by far the best film out of the three. That for me is not up for debate. Don't get me wrong, The Dark Knight is a masterpiece. It's a fantastic film. But for me personally, it's not the best Batman movie because you can get the characters from The Dark Knight and the storyline and everything, and you could change them. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be Batman, doesn't necessarily have to be the Joker. You could put other characters in that story, and it would still be a great movie. There's no denying that. That's how great. That's why it's such a great film. It's very accessible to people who are not necessarily fans of Batman. I think that's why it brought a lot of new fans into the genre. But for me, Batman Begins was just such an amazing experience for me, because when I finally sat down and I watched that movie, for the first time I was like, finally, they've made a Batman film that I've been hoping for all this time. Don't get me wrong, I like the movies beforehand by Tim Burton. Um, they were good films, but at the end of the day, even those ones, especially the first one, is a Joker film as well, and Jack Nicholson is more or less front and centre in that film, and it's all about his performance. Michael Keaton does a very good reserve performance. He's very good as Batman, but his story's not really told. It's kind of quickly skittered over. It's kind of like little bits and pieces here and there for you to work out what exactly happened to him, and they obviously show what happens to him as a child and stuff. But there's no real development as Bruce Wayne as an adult. And this, for me, the first time with Batman Begins, that is what happens. I mean, there's no way that you could change the characters in this film. This is about the Bruce Wayne. This is about his innocence being lost, and that's also a great thing about The Dark Knight Rises and Batman Begins. They kind of go together better, really. They kind of bookend The Dark Knight pretty well, because they're both more Batman movies than The Dark Knight is, because obviously The Dark Knight Rises finishes off the story of Bruce Wayne. It's kind of like Batman Begins, innocence lost. He becomes a character that was not wanted. His parents and Alfred never wanted that for him. They never wanted him to become Batman, a vigilante who takes criminals out. They had plans for him to be like live his life like an everyday human being, as best as a millionaire or a billionaire can do. But his innocence lost, and then Dark Knight Rises, he finally regains his his humanity again, and no longer needs to be what was taken from him. The Dark Knight's great because that allows Nolan to just showcase the Crusader and how he saves the city and everything. So that's what's great about the Dark Knight. But as I was saying, with the Batman Begins, the experience for me going into that, and for the first time, being amazed at how great this film was. That's an experience you can't really get back again, because obviously with the Dark Knight coming out, everyone who'd seen Batman Begins was like, wow, that was a fantastic film. The Dark Knight is going to be great too. So we had some expectations going into the Dark Knight. With Batman Begins, we had so many disappointments with the Joel Schumacher movies, that we were going in there kind of like, oh, I don't know, is this going to be like those ones? Is it not going to be very good? I suppose for some of us, I mean, I had seen Memento, so um, I kind of knew the background of the director and knew that he would do a good job. Well, hoped he'd do a good job on this, but many a time, great directors have then gone on to do comic book adaptations, and the things that made them a great director, they seem to leave behind at the door. That is probably down to studio interference. But Warner Brothers have been pretty good to Christopher Nolan. They pretty much let him do his own thing. But anyway, I'm rambling on. But that's really what I wanted to say is the reason that I love Batman Begins is because it tells the story of Bruce Wayne. You obviously see what happens to him as a child, but then it goes more into his adulthood. My fan's going off now. Goes more into his adulthood, and it's a progression of this man slowly becoming Batman throughout the film, and it also gives a reason of why he has moral guidelines of why he will not do certain things to bring him down to the same level as the people he's battling against. So yeah, the Batman Begins, best Batman film ever made. I'll catch you later.